Welcome guys to another episode of Tier Maker. So in this video we're going to be ranking pastries. Just like bakery pastries, just stuff you can find in a bakery. So without any further ado, let's get started with muffins. Muffins are pretty good. Oh, it's bugging. Oh, wait, no. Okay, muffins, they're pretty good. They're not the best thing ever, but they're like a solid like baseline thing. So I'll give them B tier. Next up, brownies. This one's less of something you'd find in a, like, I can imagine finding it in a bakery, but I don't think it's like the first thing I think of when I think of like stuff you could find in a bakery. But it's still but that aside, it's pretty good though. I like it. I'll give it A tier. Next up, ice cream cake. Ice cream cake. It's not the greatest. The only time I really like had ice cream cake and really liked it a lot, it had caramel in it, but that was pretty good. But when it doesn't have it in it, I'll give it B tier. Actually, I think we'll move muffins down to C tier. Next up, macarons, however you say it. They're pretty good. There's a lot of different like flavors. The only one that is like really that different from the others though is the chocolate ones. But like, it's like an entirely different thing. It's like a bunch of fruit flavors and then like a cocoa bean. But they're good. They're solid. I'll give them B tier. Next up, cupcakes. Another one with a lot of diversity. Actually, I have not done a tier maker on cupcakes yet. So that might happen. That'll probably happen in the future. But they're solid. But depending on what it is, I don't know. I'll give it B tier. Next up, cinnamon rolls, S tier, especially Cinnabon. Assuming this is Cinnabon. S tier. Their cinnamon is so good, man. It's just good. Next up, cookies. They're okay. Like soft and crunchy cookies. What that? Bro, I sound like Joe Biden for a second. Cookies. Soft and crunchy cookies. What? No. But I don't know. Cookies, they're alright. I'll give them B tier. Next up, apple pie. Apple pie is pretty solid. It's like, I don't know, it's just like, it's hard to describe, but it's just like, it's good. It's like insanely classic. It's A tier. Next up, cheesecake. Another really good one. I haven't had it that many times, but every time I have had it, it's pretty good. So I'll give it a solid A tier. Next up, flan. Flan is, it's good every once in a while, but I can't imagine like going out of my way to like try and find flan. It's like not that good, but it's still pretty good. Like when you've had like your meal and then like, oh, would you like some flan? Ah, sure. So yeah, I'll give it C tier. Next up, banana bread. Banana bread's a solid one. It's like, it's like. Actually, I think Starbucks used to have banana bread. I don't think I think they got rid of it. I'm not sure though, but I don't know. It's alright. I'll give it B tier. Next up, ice cream. I don't really think this one fits the tier list at all because this is pastries, and I don't know about you, but I think this one's a little different than the others. But it's good. It not fitting the tier list at all aside, I'll give it B tier. Next up, croissants, like the most like the basic thing on this list. Like when you think of pastry, one of the first things you think of besides like, I don't know, a cake. But they're good. I'll give them B tier. Next up, cinnamon twists. Cinnamon twists, depending on like if they're soft or crunchy, the soft ones they're really good, but when they're crunchy, they're just, I don't know, they when they're crunchy, all I can think of is like pork rinds, and like, excuse me, like I don't know, when they're crunchy, they have the consistency of pork rinds, and that just does not sit right with me. And after mentioning that, I'd like to humbly put them in D tier. Next up, we have like, I don't know, store-bought cake. I'll give it C tier. Next up, chocolate cake. I don't like chocolate cake. The only kind of chocolate cake I like is actually my favorite kind of cake. it's German chocolate cake, which is still chocolate cake, but it's like a sweet coconut filling. So that's the only time I like it. But if it's just basic like chocolate cake, I'll give it D tier. Next up, peanut butter cookies. I used to always see like the little pattern on the top. I used to always wonder how they did that, and I don't think it's the actual way they do it, but I learned if you just use a fork and like put them diagonal, then you can like emulate whatever like voodoo magic they use to get the pattern on the top. But they're pretty good. I'll give them B tier. Next up, donuts. If you want to hear me go more in depth about donuts, go watch my donut tier maker. But yeah, they're pretty good. I'll give them B tier. Next up, I have no clue what this is called, but S tier. It is so good. I have not the slightest clue what it's called, but it is so good. It's like, I don't know if like, I don't know, like the filling. It's just so good. I cannot say it in more words. It's just so good. And also next up, another S tier, pumpkin pie. It's like so seasonal, and it's so good. I would end a friendship. I would like contemplate ending a friendship if someone didn't like if someone didn't like pumpkin pie. That is a joke. Not really, but that is a joke. But yeah, it's just so nice. But next up we have red velvet. I've had it once and it was really good, so I don't know. I don't know. It just looks so appetizing. Like this isn't even like a taste thing. Just it looks so appetizing. I'm gonna give it A tier. Next up, we have waffles. Another thing that this is like this would go in my breakfast food tier list, which I did like a decent amount of months ago. But I don't know. I'll give it C tier. Next up, sugar cookie. Are these sugar? Yeah, these are sugar cookies. I don't know. Sugar cookies are like less good than the other cookies. They're still good, don't get me wrong, but they're just less good than the others, so I guess I'll put them in C tier. Let's see. Next up, we have like this crumbly muffin. I have no idea what it's called, but it's pretty good. I have absolutely no clue what it's called, but it's going in. What is bugging? It's going in B tier. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and goodbye. Bon appetit.